In this video, I'm going to share with you the one bit of advice you should always ignore when the going gets tough, and 2 simple yet contrarian things you can do to get yourself back on track and in your mojo. Right after. Welcome back to video 4 of your 5-minute mojo makeover, where we work to get you unstuck, build your confidence, and aligned with your mojo, your medicine, your frequency, that thing that makes you uniquely you so that you can start doing what you love and serving the world, kicking ass and taking names, so to speak, but in a good way. I'm Michael Trotta, founder and Grand Poobah of Sagefire Mentoring, and today we're going to continue what we began in the last video, where we discussed work versus effort. As you may recall, in my own life, I had left work behind, created exactly what I wanted, doing exactly what I loved doing, and it was so unfamiliar, the freedom, the pleasure, the joy of it, because I was so used to having a definition of work where suffering was involved, that I stopped trusting it and started to do things unconsciously to turn it into suffering. So to unwind from that, I took a careful look at what my definition of work was, and I found that work and effort were 2 different things. But here's the thing. With any creative endeavor, a certain amount of effort or energy is required to create the transformation you're looking for. And like we said in the last video, with transformation comes tension. It's normal. But if left unchecked, it can creep past the line of tension and into the realm of suffering. Unless you know what to look for. These are just a few of the feelings that you might experience when it comes to transformational tension. At first they feel minor, like no big deal, you can handle it. But over time they build and can start to creep into that place of suffering. Now, suffering is different for everybody, and our capacity to deal with transformational tension can build over time. But somewhere along the line, things like frustration or self-doubt, it gets to the place where you're just... And that's when the advice kicks in. People say it to us all the time, but worst of all, we say it to ourselves. Just work harder. Work harder? I mean, what the is that? When I hear work harder, what I hear is suffer more. That's not good for anybody, and that's a mindset you want to avoid. I mean, sure, there are times where more effort's needed to be applied, but who, trying to make a business, doing the thing they love, isn't going to put as much effort into it as they possibly can? Nobody. Will this advice, work harder, get the job done? Well, it could, sure, but at what cost? Work harder? Are you kidding me with that advice? In fact, I found the exact opposite works even better. So when I'm finding that my tension is crossing into suffering, the first thing I do is check in with rest. Have I been resting? Sleeping? Do I need food? Heck, just going for a walk for a few minutes, stepping away from the thing that you're working on is often more than enough to allow yourself to get back into the flow. And that's also a great way to expand your capacity to sit in the tension. So that's where I begin, with rest. But the thing that really gets me going, the thing that completely flies in the face of work harder, well, for that, we're going to have to go on a field trip. Why a field trip? So we can play, reconnect, have fun out in nature, breathe fresh air. Listen, sometimes rest is best, but I feel that people have a pretty good understanding of what that means to them. Play, on the other hand, well, for most people, I find it comes with a lot of baggage, and so playing is something that we need to talk about. And I figured I'd take you to play doing one of the things that I most love to do. When I find myself beating the drum of work harder, and let's face it, I still do that, old brain patterns, well, I take that as a sign normally to go play. And fly fishing just happens to be my favorite way to do that right now. And it's not about the activity, it's about the frequency that the activity puts you in. Play is a place of freedom. It's a place of creativity and imagination, and that's where problems get solved. We were born to play. It's in our DNA. It's who we are and how we respond to the natural environment as children. And in doing so, we learn and develop a relationship to a sense of self. You see, the games we played as children are all related to our own survival. Hide and go seek, fort building, family building. All of these things taught us about the environment, allowed us to practice for our own surviving, and put us into relationship with the things that we were best at. Not to mention our mojo. But then, somewhere along the line, we learned that play was for children and not to be done unless on the weekends. Do you see where this is going? So the next time you find yourself putting effort into something you care about and start crossing the bridge from tension into suffering, go outside and play. Whatever that is for you. And I'll see you in the next video.